Hey, welcome back to Evil's Comics. This guy right here is Evil Mike, or Mike if you prefer. Um, so I got a review for you, and this one's a little, let's say it, a classic. You know, it's not really a classic. It's from, I think 2020, but it might be early 2021. But this is Paper Girls. We got the show coming out. It's premiering, I think, July 29th on Amazon Prime. It's a story that's been told, like, I'd say it's been recommended by almost every person that's probably read this book, has recommended for me to read it. So it was big on my list, but it came out like a little before I got into indie comics, so I had already missed out on it. And then the whole getting an option, and it just skyrocketed out the door. But it has been a series that, like, either trade paperback or, you know, if I could find the, you know, single issues, I was gonna read it, wanted to read it because I had no idea what it was about. But everybody that I've talked to has hyped it up, saying it was good art, good story, that kind of stuff. And after watching the trailer that we got from Amazon Prime, I was pretty hyped up. Now the trailer has a, like, Stranger Things vibes with Back to the Future with these girls, these paper girls. But honestly, that's not exactly how the book kind of turned out. I will say maybe Stranger Things vibes mixed with something a little else. Now maybe the Back to the Future part, and I'm referencing, like, you know, time travel, that kind of stuff. But maybe in that part it's further in the issues because I'm only reviewing the first issue. Of course, is the Image first, you know, book that I picked up, the dollar, you know, issue. But I was just happy to be able to read the first issue and see what it was about, see what the art looks like, because I've never seen this in the wild. And honestly, if I would have came across this in the wild, I probably would have passed it up. So I'm kind of glad I took a chance. And you know, the trailer kind of got me a little more excited than I was before. So actually reading the issue, I will have to say the art is fantastic. The story is pretty dope so far. I'm definitely going to try and find the trade and so I can read the rest of it. But let's get into it. So it's Brian K. Vaughan is the writer, Cliff Chiang is the artist, Matt Wilson is on colors, and Jared K. Fletcher is letters and design. We start out in a dream state. With I think this girl's name is Erin. Again, I'm really bad with names, and there's really like 4 names to know in this book, and I'll probably mess them up, but I'll try and keep them up here. Okay, so we're with Erin, and she's in this dream, and at first she's like talking to this angel, and then coming to find out, like, you know, this demon has her little sister Missy captive, and she has to solve this one riddle. Evidently, you find out Erin's had this dream many times before, and it just doesn't play out the way, you know, it never plays out the way it's supposed to. And she ends up waking up. She ends up, like, you know, looking down here at her little sister to check and make sure she's okay, even asking, hey, are you still alive? And her sister's like, what the hell? She gets up, looks at the clock, it's around like 4:40 in the morning, you know, and she's starting her paper route. She cuts off the bands of her paper. They show her, like, rubber banding, you know, her, you know, single issues for her customers. And then they, you know, a badass full spread, they show her taking off on her paper route. Shortly after, we end up running into a scene because she is in, like, a bad neighborhood. I don't remember where this takes place. I'm not even sure if it referenced. I know they do reference this neighborhood a couple different times, calling it like St. Elm or something like that. And they do mention quite a bit of the schools that the girls go to, but I don't remember if they actually say it's like Missouri or India. I don't remember. But we do come across a scene where a girl is being, you know, like, bullied by these 3 guys in costume. We find out it's Halloween night or something like that. You know, it's like the after morning of Halloween night or something like that, I'm assuming, because the guys are still in costume. And it did say 4:40 in the morning on the girl's clock. But shortly after the one girl is being bullied, and we meet the other 3 girls that were, you know, part of this whole story. Altogether, if I think I have the names right, it's KJ, Erin, Tiffany, and I forgot one. We'll get there. The other one is, like, it's kind of confusing because the cops call her Coyle and then they call her Mackenzie. So I'm not sure if that's, I don't know. But the names aren't that important. Just remember there's 4 girls. One of them's kind of like an outsider. The other 3 are kind of like good friends or something like that, and it's because of this paper route. Shortly after they kind of get the guys to go away with the guys, yeah, we'll get you, we'll be back, kind of thing. The girls do meet the one kind of outsider, and it turns out to be like this girl named Mackenzie, and she's supposed to be this legend among the paper girls because she was the first paper girl that wasn't a paper boy that started doing the route, and it kind of opened the door and allowed them to be paper girls, so they kind of all know about her, and to them she's kind of a legend. To her, she just wants to finish the route. She doesn't put it down or anything. But she's like, yeah, I'm the legend, but yeah, can we get back to work? I want to get this done, kind of thing. They kind of explain that the other 3 girls kind of tagged together because of previous Halloween and them getting bullied by certain crazy individuals or whatever. So they do it in a group just to stay safe or whatever, and they've been doing it ever since. The legend Mackenzie does explain if they do it in a group, all 4 of them, it'll take forever, so they end up making the choice to split into 2 groups. They explain that the new girl, Erin, and that's the girl that started out with the dream, but Erin ends up going out with Mackenzie, and they end up giving her a CB radio. This does take place in '88. There are certain things that kind of mention, I think there's like an article on the newspaper as she's wrapping it up, and it does say the date, and I think it's 1988 this takes place. There are other references like Radio Shack, Tandy, stuff like that. But she does give her this realistic TRC 218 CB with channel 14 crystals, radio. Basically a high-tech walkie-talkie, if you will. But they split up into 2 groups and they continue on their mission. Right as soon as she gets the walkie, you can see this one panel that says like the kaboom or whatever, and they do hear this one sound. I think this is when all the craziness starts, because in this panel over here you see that before it was like the 3 guys in like the Halloween costumes. One of them was dressed like Freddy Krueger, and okay, so now we got these 3 guys and they're just in kind of like this drab gear or whatever. It does zoom into one of their eyes, showing you that they do not have like human eyes. Either they're wearing really, really nice contacts, or they're just not human, and just human appearance or something like that. But it is signified with that sound. They do show some other panels that kind of make no sense until you get further in the story, like this, the smashing of a pumpkin, stuff like that. But the girls are going on with their mission, and eventually Mackenzie and Erin are talking, and eventually they get stopped by a cop that knows Mackenzie by name, and they call her Coyle, like Collie, Coyle. It's spelled Koyle, so maybe like, I was thinking like, Wile E. Coyote, or, but it's Kyle. I don't know how to pronounce it. But we do get a first name out of the cop, so I'm not sure if that's a nickname. The cop does reference that they know her, not just because she's this lady paper girl, but it's because of her family. They accuse her. He kind of, states that, you're going to turn out to be like your brother, and she kind of like, yeah, whatever, I just want to get done with my job. The cop does let them go, but it's really because the cop looks at the other girl, and like, after he looks at the other girl, he just lets them go. So the book kind of gives you some hint that there might be something more there. They end up continuing to try to finish their mission and delivering all these papers, and sure enough the radio goes off with the other 2 girls screaming for help, saying that KJ's in trouble, that it's those bullies, they're at this certain corner. They give this address, and the other 2 girls get there explaining that these 3 guys, and quickly they find out that it's not the Freddy Krueger dress guys, but it's more like the other 3 guys with the weird eye. But they explained that it was like 3 Spanish guys that were speaking Spanish, and that basically came out of nowhere and like pushed the girl down to the ground and took her radio and ran off. We quickly learned that it's not Spanish, because one of the girls does speak Spanish, but she says that that's not any Spanish that she knows. They do eventually like find some clues onto where the guys left. One of the girls said that, saw them go in this direction. And as they start going in that direction, they do start to smell something, and they find this one abandoned house. The girls do make reference to different types of people using the abandoned house, as far as like, like lovers, trying to find a romantic getaway out of the public eye, or like homeless people. And sure enough, they do climb into this one homeless house, and it does have a certain smell. They do start to hear a hum that's coming out of the basement, and as they go down to the basement, they do find something extremely odd that is humming. Quickly after going down to investigate, well, three of them do. One of the other girls is like, nope, I'm out. The three girls learn that the thing that is covering this thing looks like a sheep, but when they touch it, it almost feels like human skin. They start to pull it off to find out what's underneath, and the sheet does not want to give way. It almost feels like it's attached. They kind of, say it's like a parachute, and once they get it off, they see this kind of module thing with the like living organs or what have you coming out of it. I don't know how well the camera's picking it up, but it is pretty creepy looking and ominous. But the girls kind of, one of the girls is, talking it up to being like a hoax. It's like the anniversary of, so and so, probes out in space, and it's like some hoax that some people coxed up. There's some other talk about like Russian probe, and that's why it looks so different. Blah blah blah. They quickly learn that it's not a probe because one of the girls touches it, and as they touch it, it quickly like activates, and you see the scene right here. They get this flash or blood, buzz of light. They seem to be fine, but as they come out of the house, they do notice that the stars and the constellations are completely and altogether brand new. None of the girls have seen the stars this many, this brilliant, this colorful. It's almost like the whole sky around the earth has changed. Also, in the same, on the same pages, they also run into the three guys that jumped the two girls before. They end up taking off after the three guys, and you find out, well, really Mackenzie does, and the other three girls follow, claiming that she's going to get the, radio back or whatever. They do show some dialogue from the three guys, and it is in some other language, assumably some alien language. The guys try to defend the girls off, with eventually like Mackenzie getting the mask off of one of the guys, and we see that they are humanoid, but they still more alien in appearance under the drab clothes that they were wearing. The other girls are kind of weirded out once they see this guy, and our girl from the beginning, Erin, eventually knocks the guy out that was trying to choke one of the girls. I think it was Mackenzie that was getting choked to death. They eventually knock the guy out. He eventually kind of comes to, and he ends up taking off or whatever, but he does drop something, and at the end we get our kind of like big cliffhanger at the end of the book. Most of this whole story has been a big cliffhanger. But we do find out what the guy drops. They do show us a little panel, and it looks they know what it is. It's an Apple product, and well, they know it's an Apple. They don't know it's an Apple product. And Apple would have just been getting started with their computers, but nothing like this. So they've never seen anything, but it looks like something from it kind of looks like an iPod, or I don't know what you think. But that is the end of the first issue. There is no clue onto what the second issue is. It does, have some advertisements for different versions of Paper Girls you can get. You can get the complete version, you can get the volumes, stuff like that, and they do sell the single issues. But the show will be premiering on July 29th, and I think I'm pretty sure that is the date. It might be the 27th, something like that. Look it up. But it should be premiering on Amazon Prime. The trailer did look pretty good. Got me enough to want to read the story. And guess what? The story was great. The art was fantastic. I loved every second of it. It was such a quick read, and there's a lot of verbal activity in the in the book. So it was just great. I'm really excited to read the rest of the story, which I'm going to have to buy now. But hey, that's my review for Paper Girls issue number 1. If you read it, let me know down below. No spoilers, but just let me know what you thought. you know, your overall, if you've read the whole story, especially if you're excited about the show, or maybe not excited about the show. You know, maybe the show is taking turns that you just don't like. You know what I'm saying? Let me know all that stuff. But please like, comment, subscribe down below. I will see you guys later. Bah!